Nearly 3% of the American workforce quit their jobs in August. Experts say it is a sign that workers believe that they have the bargaining power to get a better job with more pay. And Tom Gimbel from the LaSalle Network Group is joining us now with more on this. Tom, thanks for checking in here. So 4.3 million Americans in August during the pandemic. What is driving this particular trend, in your opinion?
Well, we've got unbelievably low unemployment. We've got an economy that, even though the unemployment numbers weren't as good as we would have wanted, it's still humming along. And you look at the situation, and then you have social media that's fostering in the public sense that people are quitting, so it's okay. And if my neighbor can do it, why can't I? And so there are some really good people that are talented that are saying, you know what, I'm going to take some time off right now. And when I want to come back, I'll still be in demand. The negative to society on this, Ray, and this is really important, is that when it's really talented people doing it, they will always be able to get another job. The problem is when people who aren't as talented think that it applies to anybody, and when the market isn't as hot as it is right now, those people are going to have a really hard time getting a job.
Do you think that that is leading to a false sense of security for some, even though, they're talking about leaving their current job for something else with the promise that something better lies ahead?
Oh, I think there is a false sense of security because we're also looking at a confluence of events where we have a society that's become a lot more okay with not evicting people if they can't pay their rent. We have laws that go into place that you aren't going to be able to collect money if the economy gets too bad. There's a lot of safety nets out in place that are beyond just the extra unemployment money that everybody wanted to harp on. There's a lot of societal changes that are different now versus 2009 and 2002 and coming out of those recessions. So I think right now people have a little bit of inflated self-worth, and you know what? They're entitled to. Everybody's allowed to roll the dice with their own career. However, when we bounce back, I'm not sure that it's going to be as easy for the average person to get back in the game if they leave on their own right now.
You know, we've been hearing an awful lot about the problems with the supply chain. When you combine that issue, what do you think is going to be the long-term effect on our economy?
Well, the good news is that with the supply chain and with things backing up, there's going to be a surplus of the goods being delivered over the course of the next 6 to 9 months. Whether it's iPhones, whether it's food, whether it's clothing, people want things and they're buying things and it's not getting delivered. Automobiles are a great example of that. You can't get a new car anywhere. There's a 6-month lag time on that, if even that soon. So when that happens, that's going to propel the economy for the next 6 to 12 months because you're going to need more drivers, more delivery folks, more people that are servicing the equipment. So it's going to continue to propel. I think the really big thing I'm looking at right now is for the small infrastructure bill to get passed. And when I say small in comparison, $1.5 billion is still $1.5 billion. But if we can get that infrastructure bill passed, you're really going to see the economy hum for the next 2-3 years. And you're going to see a lot of people actually wanting to enter the workforce and make as much money as they can while they can.
Is there a certain segment of the economy that you think is more prone to this? And if I had to put you on the spot, how long do you think this is going to go on?
Well, when you say go on, I'm assuming you're saying the shortage of people that are people are willing to walk away voluntarily. And I think you're probably looking at folks in their mid 20s to early 30s. They maybe don't have a mortgage yet. They maybe aren't married, or if they are married, they don't have kids, and they could afford to maybe go on a 2-month vacation. They're really not happy in their jobs. What I haven't seen happen is this, Ray. I haven't seen anybody say, I love my job and I'm quitting for no reason, right? What we're getting people doing is people who don't like their job and they're quitting. And that's probably a good thing. And they're going to go back to work because they have bills to pay and they need to do it. They just weren't happy. And hopefully companies will realize that and they'll tweak their culture and what they're doing, and they'll grow and people will find a good home for themselves.
Hopefully people finding better situations for themselves in the long run. Tom Gimbel with the LaSalle Network, as always, thanks for your insight. See you later.
Good to be with you.